this is Dust for Dust on Gaming, getting ready to do a little bit of Arena here on YouTube. If you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider giving us a subscribe, and if you like this particular video, give us a thumbs up. So far off camera, I've been grinding. First couple days I managed to get through bronze and silver. Gold's been a little bit tougher not to crack. I played a couple matches in it this morning, didn't go particularly well. I think of the 3 or 4 matches I played, I think I won one of them. So fortunately we don't drop down once you hit a particular tier, but this tier appears to be where things get a little real. The deck I've primarily been using to get through the silver tier and playing in gold here has been Izzet Control, playing the 4 Enigma Drake, the 4 Crackling Drake, a couple Niv Mizzets, some dive downs and spell pierces to protect your creatures, ops, charted courses, and discovery dispersal. Search for Izzet here, kind of your controlling element. 4 shocks, 3 lava coils, and a beacon bolt, as well as a Ral to kind of deal with your opponent's creatures. And the sideboard isn't too relevant, obviously, in the best of 1. And then the other deck is mono blue. If we feel we need to switch up to that, we will. But for right now, I do probably need to work on grinding out the last several rares for Golgari, so to have another change of pace for these kind of gold tier matchups. So hopefully everybody's having a great evening. Sand's okay depending on the matchup, obviously. Could go sideways, could be really good here. Opponents goes first, so we might have to shock in to play shocks. Okay, they're going to 6 at least. Let's grab one to the top. And it looks like we're up against Golgari. Sand's okay against Golgari as long as they don't have like a turn 2 Wild Growth Walker here. Nope, another Land War Elves. And so we're both kind of low on resources, but our opponent obviously missing land drops. Their deck is very mana hungry, so not sure if they're just salting off here or what's going on. Would have liked to have ideally led on Search for Izzet this turn, but if we can keep them from getting into the game, all the better for us. Yeah, it just looks like our opponent might be salting off a little bit. This matchup tends to be pretty close. I think most of the time here in gold I've played like the top tier decks. I've played Boros. I think I played against one Boros deck. I played against one or 2 Drakes decks, and then I played against Jeskai, I believe, or Esper, one of the 2. But yeah, opponent's definitely salting off here. Spell Pierce, not exactly great on turn 2 against Golgari. They usually don't have Duress in the deck, though I did play against 1 or 2 versions coming up through the ladder that had Duress in the deck. So definitely opponent being salty. See if they drew a land this turn. Who knows, maybe our opponent's having internet connection issues. But it definitely feels like Salty Factory. We did finish up 4-1 with the Blue Moon deck. We played Storm in the last match. That was a pretty interesting matchup. I just slammed Blood Moon on turn 3, kind of color screwed them game 1, and then game 2 we remanded them their pieces of the puzzle a couple of times, and then in the final game we kind of they had their big combo turn, and they turned around and bolted their face, untapped, and Emrakulled them. So that was a nice ending to that league. Alright. Is definitely like Salt Lake City salt mining here. Sweet. Just play a search for his Kanta, hit our land drops manually. Obviously, the opponent could still draw out of this. Like a Wild Growth Walker right now could be pretty devastating. Explorer creatures could be pretty devastating. Just kind of frustrating because usually these matches don't last that long. Usually this match would be halfway to 3/4 way over by now. Our opponent wasn't being extremely salty. This feels like the old Magic Online salty timeout for 10 minutes. Doo-doo-doo. Oh well, you'll have that sometimes. Okay, so this matchup's usually pretty close. I'd probably say it's even slightly favorable for Golgari when you play the full like the full sideboarded games. I don't know if I'm just like struggle with these sideboarded games or the non-sideboarded matchups. Like obviously, you know, Drake's isn't like the premium #1. Oh, they finally drew a land, so they're a little less salty. Amazing how much more quickly they play when they're not on the salt mine factory here. Let's see if they hit a land. Unfortunately, they do. You want to play a little bit faster now? Nope, apparently they just play slow, period. And they even use the auto tapper. That's the dumbfounding part to me, is just like, what are you doing over there? Obviously, would love to hit a red source here. used 3 of our shocks already, which kind of sucks. Six cards. We'll be able to flip his Kanta next turn. The slow play is real here, friends. The slow play is real. Just holding up Spell Pierce Knob through our turn, or through their turn. There's not too much they can play for 3 mana even that we care about, in terms of non-creature spells, but there's no reason to just opt main phase here. I guess hitting a land drop would be a relevant reason, but we're going to get to jump ahead on land drops next turn anyway, so. And then start deploying our Drakes. Maybe I was supposed to pitch an Opt or a Spell Pierce over one of the Drakes. Might end up proving costly if our opponent hits land drops. Leaving that on top. So the answer is yes. So 4 instants and sorceries in the graveyard right now. That'll be the 5th one, so Drake's will be a 5/4. Opponent's trying to put us all to sleep. Definitely a card we are in the market for here. Obviously we'd love to see like a dive down or something along those lines this turn. Dun, 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 dun. Hopefully they're not able to pair that Wild Growth Walker with another Explorer creature after that. Sorry about this, everyone. This is actually very, very, very pathetic on our opponent's part. Sure. So we get to kill the Wild Growth Walker basically for free here. Alright, looks like this game is going to go pretty decently as long as they don't have a Choop next turn. Us drawing like Dive Down would be like the best draw step. So I don't think I've ditched any Dive Downs yet, so got 3 out of 44, so about a 10 or 12% chance to draw like the perfect card. Come on, opponent. I just want to play my turn. Taking like... Could have been through like 3 matches now. I don't know if their strategy is just like... Hope my opponents concede because they get annoyed? I don't know. Obviously this turn's going to be Lava Coil this idiot, and then... hold up Spell Pierce most likely. Obviously depends on what we draw. 1, 2... Kind of awkward, actually, isn't it? That's a nice thing. Got a little bit lucky on our greediness there. So even if they Choop us, we still get to hit them for 6 next turn. Potentially more. Vivian would be annoying, but we can still knock her out quite easily as well. And I think they're behind on board quite a bit, so they would need a Choopy or a Vraska's Contempt probably be their best bet. Really there isn't one with a ton of counter spells right now. Jeskai is probably the closest thing with actual main deck counter spells. I'd honestly wait until Alliances comes out and you can build Esper, or see if blue-white gets the tools to be good. The three top dogs right now are, well, 4 top dogs are 4 to 5 are Golgari, Jeskai. I mean, blue-black could be alright. The problem with blue-black is blue-black tends to struggle against the Golgari matchup. Like, blue-black tends to pound... The blue-black base control decks tend to pound the Jeskai and the Drake's decks, if they're built correctly, but Golgari tends to punish them pretty hard. Golgari and the Boros/White Weenie decks tend to smack around most of the blue-black decks. And the fact that Div Visit has become a 4 of in a lot of the Jeskai lists makes it a lot less, has made it a lot less appealing. See if our opponent gets a Choop here. Do you have a Choopy Chabra? Alright, so they don't have Vivian Reed. Assassin's Trophy, huh? Probably actually should have grabbed an island there. So that way I could have Spell Pierce up during their turn. So 2 cards we can rule out. Could be interesting. This opponent is taking forever, my man. Forever and ever. That's how long their turns last, and my turns last even longer. Like, normally, and I'm not trying to harp, but normally I'd be through like 3 matches by now. Like, I don't know if my opponent's deliberately trying to just like get me to concede and get the heck out of here because they're so annoying, or if their internet connection sucks. This is why I don't which version of the Drake stack? There's 2 versions. There's the controlling version and the Arc-like Phoenix version. The Arc-like Phoenix version is probably a lot more expensive. Oh wow, it is 215 bucks. What's so expensive about it? The Steam Vents and the Sulphur Falls. Yeah, if you don't already own those cards, I suppose it would be quite expensive. I didn't realize they were quite that much. There's like 2 or 3 different versions. There are some the regular Arc-like Phoenix versions don't run Niv Mizzet in the main deck, and then there's a one similar to the one I'm running that has the 4 Enigma Drake, the 4 Crackling Drake, and the 2 Niv Mizzet in the main deck, and like a 3rd Niv Mizzet in the sideboard, and doesn't run Arc-like Phoenix at all. This deck's a little bit more controlling and a little bit more interested in protecting its creatures, whereas the other deck's a little bit more interested in recurring the Phoenixes and being a little bit more chip shot aggressive. So there are some subtle differences to the builds. Most of the pros, I was gonna say I'd probably just wait for blue-white or Esper. Come on. And I guess I should be thankful. It looks like we're going to win this game. This is only like my 2nd win in the gold tier in like 5 matches. So, gold tier has been a little bit rough. Don't care about the Branch Walker. I only care about their removal spells. So we'll just leave Spell Pierce up. Especially when we have 2 lethal threats. Yeah, and but the real prize out of the blue-black decks, especially against other control decks in the post-board games, is what is the name of that card? It's the 1, a black, and a blue. It's a 2/2 flyer. Whenever it hits a player, you look at the top 3 cards of their library, and you can, like, exile one of the cards and put 2 cards in the graveyard. Honestly, been a long time since I played against blue-black, so I don't remember the name of the card off the top of my head. Because all I've been seeing in these queues is, in the lower end I saw, let me look it up, see if I can find it. It is Thief of Sanity. Quite a nasty little piece of work. No. Thief of Sanity. Not Disinformation Campaign. Oh, make sure you run Eldest Reborn in your build, Space Marine somewhere. That way you have a solid answer to Planeswalkers, Niv Mizzet, and Carnage Tyrant. I'm guessing you're planning on Vraska's Contempting during my draw step? Yeah, I'm guessing that's their plan here. If it is Contempt, though, they're just dead. And they really probably should have done it while I was tap low on my turn. But, you know, whatevs. Apparently they just have nothing. You finally gonna let me kill you, friend? So what has you interested in Standard all of a sudden, Space Marine? You've just been on the Modern train lately. Well, Doyle, what you been up to? Since we have time to talk this match, since our opponent's just being a little poop head. I know, not the most savage of words there. It's your final opportunity, friend. Do you not have anything? Yeah. There are definitely some things you can do in Standard. It's just tough to build Standard decks when you're broke. Believe me, I know that feeling. Alright, opponent just decided to concede right before we'd beat them. Hopefully our next opponent will be a little bit faster. Should not take almost 30 minutes for a one game. I've actually played against Mind Sculptor, but I don't remember what they were on, so... this hand's a mulligan. This hand's a keep, but not fantastic. Izzet, I think we keep that one. They might be on... They're either on Boros or Jeskai, because we've played against them before. Okay, they're on Jeskai. I do believe we lost this particular matchup, too. So we're going to bend the shock, keep the Sulfur Falls. Did you look at, I know you don't like him, but did you look at Hoagland's, Blue-Black Pirates list? We'll just get rid of Shock here. So he was a huge fan of the Blue-Black Pirates, like, tempo list. Color control. Interesting. They have Teferi, they have Teferi. We really need this search to resolve, though. Do you have Teferi? Yep. Instant punishment. We get syncopated. I was gonna say, if we get syncopated here, we deserve whatever we get. At least this opponent's playing fairly quickly. Because most of the counter spells are 3 mana and they suck.
Keep up the pace.
At least they can't visit us here. At least try for this card. They'll probably just run into a Steel Sabotage here. Sinister Sabotage, sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have fought over the search for his Kanta. I should have just held up the Spell Pierce for their stupid Teferi. Essence Scatter is eh. The problem with counterspells is, what matchups do you want counterspells in? You usually want counterspells in the control. Huh? It's Kanta, really. Sure.
Not so fast.
It's a weird time to... If you have Syncopate, you have Syncopate here. See if our opponent has a Justice Strike or something.
No more games.
There's Kanta. Does that mean the next card? I was gonna say the next card downs is Kanta too, huh? I really don't want to run this Niv Mizzet out and then turn around and get us hit by a Cleansing Nova or something. Their deck's already playing some weird main deck cards, so I don't want to go too crazy. Ah, Nikki B. Obviously, finding a lava coil would be best here. They're each different. I haven't played enough of Jeskai, honestly, to tell you. I personally like Izzet because it has less rares, if we're being completely honest. Or less mythics and stuff that it needs. I think Jeskai is probably better against the... Let's go ahead and Op tier first. Yeah, I think I keep a Niv Mizzet on top. Discard a Drake. So, play Ral Zarek.
Every problem has a solution.
Yo, dive down.
Start by taking you out of the equation.
Alright. Yeah. I think it's better in the Grixis builds in all honesty, but, I mean, our opponent was playing whatever. I think Izzet has better card selection with Op, Chart a Course, and Discovery Dispersal. Jeskai has more power between Teferi and Niv Mizzet. So I think it depends. It's the whole power versus consistency thing. And obviously, Deafening Clarion is better. Is a better main deck card against the aggro decks than some of the other stuff. So. Blue-black, a little bit rough here. Looking for lands, these shocks can go to the graveyard. And that said, we might get stuck on lands here. Sucks to put all this crap in the graveyard. Tch! Talking about how consistent we are on lands, but I just scryed through like 6 cards and then we're gonna get bolused. One's got a Nikki B. Nikki B, are you with me? Sure. I'm gonna say you're burning resources to stop card draw. Well, I mean, let's see if this resolves. Wow, that just resolved. What do we pitch here? Like, just dive down? Sure. What is my opponent sitting on? Sure. Thief of Sanity. You're welcome. Looks like this Ralzeric's gonna resolve, unfortunately.
The nth power, carry the one. Yep. Odds of victory look good. I remember. That.
Obviously this Niv Mizzet could just die, but... Wow, Ravenous Chupacabra too? What on earth are they playing in their deck? Wow. Seriously? getting back our Niv-Mizzet here. That's the turn. Now we probably can't win this game. This Space Marine is why I was talking about the blue-black control decks tend to have a good matchup against these why is it not letting me look at my library? Anywho, that's why this particular area is a little bit rough. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and call it a stream. Don't know if there's any changes I would make to the deck right now. Deck still seems pretty functional. Obviously, the blue-black control list can be a little bit rough. The aggro list can be a little bit rough. Honestly, probably need to build Golgari at this point to really compete in these upper tiers, but we're a little bit of ways off from Golgari right now. So, anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in. This has been Dusk for Listed on Gaming. Hope everybody has a great evening.